Okay, the weather's finally starting to break, starting to get nice and warm out here. Just dropped my daughter off at gymnastics. So heading back to the office to meet Abe. We're doing another shoot today. And what I want to just share with you really quick is the more and more that, I'm going through this process of documentation, the more bullish I'm getting about this idea of narrative arbitrage. And what is narrative arbitrage? Narrative arbitrage is being able to put your narrative out there in a way, and it gives you the ability to control not only your narrative, but control capital flow and talent flow. Those are the two things that, building out daily documentation vlogs is over time, it compounds over time. And what happens is you begin to almost think of it as like a river, where you're digging out this river. It's hard, it takes a lot of work, but eventually you hit and you strike that water, and then all the water from the river floods everything out. And that's kind of how this is. It's like you're chipping away, and that's how you control the narrative. And I call it narrative arbitrage. So let me know in the comments, why do you think this idea of narrative arbitrage is beneficial for private equity, micro private equity firms, or holding companies and their portfolio companies? Let me know in the comments, why do you think that it's beneficial? So one of the things that come to mind to me right off the bat is, if you watch last episode, I talked about building the one-person billion-dollar company, the one-person unicorn company. And in that time, as I was sharing what the gentleman was saying in the podcast, was the fact that he wants to build using all AI agents and automation to build the company and to create, to really eliminate each aspect of the organizational chart. Essentially, the human part of it. And to be honest with you, when I really thought about it, it sounds exciting at first. And the way I framed it in the episode is as like the Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile. And if he does it, if he ends up doing that, more people are going to think about, man, this is really possible. But what's exciting would be more exciting is if I would see that person document their whole journey. Because the question is, what's going to set them apart? And you don't have to, if you're listening right now, you don't have to be the company the holding company, private equity company that's trying to be the billion-dollar company. But the tools of AI agents and automations are becoming more and more easier to use, and building those things in the workflow. The only thing that's going to be left is us. So being able to document your process, especially the sooner you do it, the more valuable the content is. And I say this over and over again, is that most people that are successful, if you ask them, one of the things that they wish that they did that they didn't do was document the whole process. Pull out the camera and just document the whole process. And I've talked about this over and over again, but like I said, now that, these AI tools and agents are becoming more accessible to the average person, a person that can, now the average person could be an engineer and build their own software. But what's going to make it unique is your story. Nothing can ever, you're like a fingerprint. And that's why, this is so important to document, and hopefully this inspires you.
Can you explain why that's critical for long-term success?
On attention, like not just attention grabbing, but being able to have people's attention.
Yeah. Okay, I got the answer for it.
Just
I got the answer for it. It's called narrative arbitrage. All right, we finished. We finally finished the recording part of everything. Abe was executive producing. He pulled out the best in me as we were going through the questions. Any thoughts about the recording? This is just a recording. Any thoughts about the process?
It was a process. It was, trying to plan our days together. Honestly, it was definitely for me, I'm new to videos, so I do photos. So getting the videos, this was definitely a great experience for me. So it actually pushed my editing skills even more. It made me taught how to edit videos and and look at the different softwares, and also learn about like the different just the micro private equity space and stuff like that. So those are very interesting lessons that I learned along the way for sure.
Yeah, because it took us some time to really kind of find our rhythm.
Yeah,
the first 2 weeks trying to find our rhythm.
It was because like it didn't really make sense to go full professional.
Yeah.
Like from what this is right now.
Yeah.
To go full professional.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't really.
Yeah.
It didn't really make sense.
Yeah. At that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like so like that having that series come in, it just really made more sense because it's like it's more condensed, kind of everything that we're just talking about right now, but like just more structured, and then that will lead us to the big, beyond return, and then that's a more of a big polish, production. But this is a bridge, just that gap right there in the middle.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That way you could get better with scripting.
It's a learning process. And I told you this before. I hate scripting.
Yeah.
I hate scripting anything. I like to keep it as organic as possible. But I know in order to be organized and in order to really articulate, you have to have a script.
Yeah. I feel like we didn't do full script. It was more of like, okay, the question, these are the questions, those guidelines. It wasn't full script. It was more like guidelines of like, these are the questions, this is the different phases. So I feel like it was a great experience overall.
Yeah. No doubt. Cool. We did it.